Chau has officially decided to wipe the floor with President Ruto and Mudavadi. Let me just read you this tweet to put things in context, and I quote. This is a post from Chau, second president of Vietnam, at Vietnam Gas/Energy. His tweet reads, "Why Africa waits while Asia builds, a hard look at Kenya. I met with Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and President William Ruto in Nairobi. They spoke with energy about Kenya's future, investment, infrastructure, public housing. But behind the polished language was a painful truth. There is no serious execution culture. Kenya's real problem is not a lack of money or talent, it's the absence of long-term vision and the dominance of short-term gain. Leaders talk big, but systems don't move. They wait for outsiders to bring business rather than build an environment for it. The biggest indicator, electricity. Vietnam has a population of 100 million people and produces over 70 gigawatts of power. Kenya has 50 million people and only produces 4 gigawatts of power. This is not a side issue, it's the foundation of economic development. No investor will build a factory where the lights flicker every day. Vietnam knew this. It built power generation before free trade zones, and now it's a global export hub. In Kenya, basic energy supply is unstable, and yet the government built a fancy expressway from Nairobi to Mombasa without an export industry to support it. Meanwhile, millions live in slums and huts with no access to reliable utilities. Tourism is another missed opportunity. Safari bookings require 90-minute check-ins at park gates, even with reservations. After 9 p.m., everything closes. And I think you remember Jalango talking about this the other day. There's nothing for visitors to experience or spend on beyond a Maasai market that's essentially a souvenir stand. Ooh, that's a big roast. President President Ruto wants to build public housing, but investors are scared off by petty corruption and legal instability. There are no credible incentives, no serious risk guarantees. In short, no real initiative to make it happen. Compare this to Vietnam or Singapore. Leaders are up at 5 a.m. working on execution, not speeches. Power supply is constant, policies are consistent and data-driven, incentives align with performance. Africa doesn't lack potential, it lacks a mindset shift. Leadership must stop performing for the next donor visit or summit. It must build systems that attract local and global investments, reward builders and guarantee follow-through. The global window is closing, Asia isn't waiting. If Kenya and much of Africa want a real economic future, they must turn off the microphone and turn on the power. My goodness, this is the most powerful tweet I've seen all year. And here he is with Mudavadi, so when he says he has met lazy leaders, he's not lying. This is him to the right of Musalia Mudavadi, along with his own envoy. Now, is there any truth in these claims by Doan? The answer is yes. We do indeed have an execution problem. I mean, we talked about Galana Kulalu and we failed to execute. We talked about extending the SGR all the way to Uganda and we failed to execute. We talked about launching 7 stadiums in 6 months' time and we failed to execute. The list goes on and on and on. So yes, Chau is absolutely correct. But you'll find useless yes men who support the president saying, Wamunyoro amelipa Doan. I think for anything to move in this country at this juncture, we must introduce the guillotine. Lazy public servants and thieves alike should be taken to Zayuni so that we remain with hardworking Kenyans, equal like natural selection. You know how in the wild the weak naturally die off? It is the stronger sibling that lives on to pass that good genetic code to others and others and others, which is why you don't find weak male lions. Natural selection deals with that issue. We should also pia hiyo tulete kwa siasa. Tuko na watu, for as long as they exist, this country will never do well. But anywho, let's see what Kenyans Rex had to say about this, and I quote. Gratia Donham Day said he was kind not to mention the elephant in the room, corruption. Mudavadi invites investors, then demands 5% and another 5% for Ruto's facilitation fees. This hinders Kenya's growth. Culture Kenya Media said, this is a lecture, short-term gain and no vision. This is a lecture to show you guys that you're doing nothing. You talk big but no action. 4 gigawatts of power in 2025. You people are not serious. Abdi said, Chau's remarks expose Kenya's deeper crisis, a leadership addicted to optics, not outcomes. No power, no planning, no serious execution. Investors see through the PR. Dido Jr. said, he is politely saying that mdomo tamu tamu, lakini corruption stinks to the high heavens. He's referencing what Uhuru said about Ruto prior to the elections. Ali Mwavita Manzu said, I have gathered 2 important things that ails some African states. Lack of long-term vision and poor execution culture. Let us learn. But will they learn? I don't think so. Guillotine ndo dawa. Inafaa iwekwe kwa constitution. Lazy public servants or corrupt public servants shall be deemed to be one and the same. Na wote wapitie pale. But what say you guys? Do drop me your comments in the comment section below. Do you think the guillotine is the only way to rescue this country, ama we continue with civic education inaingia huku ikitoka huko? Just drop me your own comments and I'll do my best to read them and to give you a response. In the event you're here for the first time, please go on and hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching from a different platform, just head on over to YouTube, search for David Wafula, hit the subscribe button. You're going to be getting a ton of content of this nature. If politics is something you're passionate about, this is definitely the one channel that you really need to subscribe to. Alright guys, adios. Thank you for choosing David Wafula as your primary news platform. We put countless hours in research, recording, and editing. By showing up each and every day to watch our videos, you encourage us to generate more videos for the viewers. We are on a mission to inform, educate, and build a better tomorrow. To our thousands of followers in a world full of presidents, kings, and queens, you are the real gem. Adios.